Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? Hey, I'm Emily from MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 funniest musicals.
My dad said be an actor, my son, but be a comical one.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're looking at musical comedies that have the reputation for making audiences roll down the aisles with laughter. Now let's go.
Number 10. Monty Python's Spamalot. Coconuts at the ready, Spamalot takes the best, most quotable moments of Monty Python and the Holy Grail and throws in some catchy tunes, jazz hands, and if you can believe it, even more laughs.
I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
The acclaimed comedy troupe is well versed in the art of writing hilarious songs, so it was only a matter of time before their work made it to Broadway and West End.
You won't fail. Find your grail. Find your grail. Find your grail.
Written by Eric Idle, the adaptation embodies the silliest, most surreal elements of that unique Monty Python humor. By curtain call, you'll be breathless from laughter, having been thoroughly reminded to always look on the bright side of life.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Number 9. Guys and Dolls. Based on the short stories of Damon Runyon, this show won a Tony for Best Musical and was even dubbed by one theater critic as the perfect musical comedy.
In other words, just from waiting around for that plain little band of gold, a nation develop a cold.
The story deals with the New York underworld, focusing on gangsters and gamblers. And given its legendary status, it's perfectly unsurprising that this show has attracted the likes of Rebel Wilson, Jane Krakowski, Ellen Greene, and Megan Mullally over the years, all of whom know how to crack up an audience.
And the devil will drag you under by the fancy time when you get close. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Guys and Dolls provides the perfect combination of comedy and action to keep audiences racing back anytime it's revived.
I could honestly die.
Serve a paper and sue me, sue me. What can you do me? I love you.
Number 8. The Drowsy Chaperone.
Let me read you what it says in the back. Mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Well, of course the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's all this show is, fun.
If you love a good musical parody, this is the show and show within a show for you. It all starts with the appropriately titled man in chair, who tries to cheer himself up by playing the recording of his favorite musical.
I don't want to show off. 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 I don't want to show off.
His wry commentary, juxtaposed with the glitz of the theater world, keeps the audience chuckling from beginning to end.
Do I need to be so gloomy? No, no, no! I can rule the world if so I chose.
If you're a musical theater aficionado, you'll particularly enjoy the way the show lovingly pokes fun at musical theater tropes, including mistaken identities, Deus Ex Machina, comic relief gangsters, and of course, a drowsy chaperone.
As we stumble, bumble, fumble, plumble.
Number 7. A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Isn't this madness? Who could foresee how one trick of timing could ruin it all? One in the parlor, one in the bedroom, nothing between them but me and a wall.
How far would you go to get from rags to riches? When Monty discovers his deceased mother was disinherited from her incredibly wealthy family, he devises various plots to try to climb up the family ladder and get his hands on their fortune.
Oh, I don't understand the poor. The lives they lead of want and need. And I should think it would be a bore.
It's these various creative ways to bump off his relatives that provide much of the show's dark humor.
I am standing here with poison in my pocket, one eye on the target, one eye on the clock. It better happen soon before I lose my nerve and run.
It's also a running gag throughout this musical that most of the various members of the Dysquith family standing between Monty and the inheritance are played by the same actor. Number 6. The 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
People think we're automatons, but that is exactly what we're not.
Thanks to the improv elements of this show, you're in for a night of unique comedy set to the unlikely backdrop of a middle school spelling bee. While the story focuses on the quirky bee participants and organizers, audience members are also encouraged to take part. During the 2005 Tony Awards, presidential candidate Al Sharpton even joined the cast on stage. Never exactly the same twice, the show takes us on an unpredictable and hilarious ride time after time.
Come on and make a connection. Spell with patience and care. Whoa, that's my prayer.
Who could have possibly imagined that spelling could be this much fun?
Oh, a magic force. Be specific, the magic force. It's terrific if you're not specific.
Number 5. Avenue Q. It's Sesame Street for grown-ups as the residents of Avenue Q try to navigate their way through this undeniably adult world.
So why don't I have a boyfriend? It sucks to be me.
Me too.
We could focus on the sweet story at its heart, but it's the colorful characters and their hilarious shenanigans that make this musical so memorable.
Ethnic jokes might be uncouth, but you laugh because they're based on truth. Don't take them as personal attacks.
The show tackles sex, porn, racism, and coming out of the closet while also managing to stay cheekily relevant by updating the lyrics in for now depending on the political climate.
Except for death and paying taxes, everything in life is only for now. Each time you smile,
It'll only last a while.
Thanks to characters like Trekkie Monster and the Bad Idea Bears, you'll never see puppets in the same light again. Number 4. Something Rotten. Welcome to the Renaissance. Shakespeare is a bona fide rock star, and Nick and Nigel Bottom are struggling to compete.
He's holding court and they say, Will, you're such a genius, and your writing is divine. A rose by any other name is such a clever line. And they're all, ew, and he's all, stop, and they're all, yeah, and I'm all, bleh, and I'm really getting sick of it.
There is nothing subtle about this meta-musical, which is loaded with more theatrical references than we can count.
So an actor is saying his lines, and then out of nowhere, he just starts singing?
Yes.
Well, that is the stupidest thing that I have ever heard.
We're even presented with a show-stopping number that hilariously sends up the entire musical theater genre. Whether it's Shakespeare and Nick's fierce rivalry, or Nigel and Portia's unlikely courtship, there are plenty of opportunities for big laughs throughout the show. While Omelette the Musical was never going to be a hit, Something Rotten certainly cracked us up.
If you wanna make it to the top, then you're gonna have to go through me. 'Cause on the top is where I live, and I will not be giving up that easily. So there!
Number 3. A funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Something familiar, something peculiar, something for everybody comedy tonight.
With funny in the title, how could the show not be on our list? Roman slave Pseudolus bargains for his freedom by playing matchmaker for his master hero and the courtesan next door, Philia. As with any farce, things don't exactly go to plan and chaos ensues, with blackmail, disguises, and cases of mistaken identity driving the plot.
Everybody ought to have a mate, someone who'll be busy as a bumblebee, and even if you grumble, be as graceful as a grouse.
If you dust off your Latin dictionary, you'll find that the characters' names are rather tongue-in-cheek too. It's a strong combination of witty lines and physical comedy that make this show so joyous.
Let haste be made, I cannot be delayed. There are lands to conquer, cities to loot, and peoples to degrade.
Number 2. The Book of Mormon. Brought to you by the brilliant minds behind South Park and Avenue Q, The Book of Mormon playfully pokes fun at religion through a hilarious musical satire.
And if you let us in, we'll show you how it can be done. No thanks. You sure? Oh, well. That's fine. Goodbye. Have fun in hell. Hey now. You simply won't believe how much this book will change your life.
It's beloved by fans for its witty, catchy musical numbers and the wicked sense of humor it brings to the stage.
Whenever something bad happens, we just throw our hands to the sky and say, Has Adiga Evowai.
Does it mean no worries for the rest of our days?
The writers know how to push boundaries and take us to dark places, but somehow it just makes us laugh even harder. That being said, there's surprisingly nothing particularly mean-spirited about the content. It even has a positive and endearing message at its heart.
And I believe that in 1978 God changed his mind about black people. Black people! You can be a Mormon who just believes.
What the this?
Self-aware historical comedies, Mary mix-up love triangles with murder, Nathan Lane, I'm interested. Now let's look at some hilarious honorable mentions before we get to the king of Old Broadway.
All through the night.
A dentist. You have a talent for causing things. Hey, son, be a dentist. People will pay you to be inhumane.
My friends, you have to run, freedom, run on. Freedom, run away. Freedom, run away.
You're like a stinky old cheese, babe, just getting riper with age. You're like a fatal disease, babe, but there's no cure, so let this fever rage.
Number 1. The Producers.
I always had the biggest hits, the biggest bathrooms at the Ritz. My showgirls had the biggest hits. I never was the pits in any way.
This musical does such a stellar job of bringing music and comedy together. It won an unprecedented 12 Tony Awards. Adapted from the 1967 Mel Brooks film of the same name, The Producers follows Max Bialystock and Leo Bloom as they set out to create a huge flop as part of a get-rich-quick scheme. The controversial subject for this show is only made more absurd by the caricature-like characters they employ along the way.
We can do it, have our back.
There are countless laugh-aloud moments, with songs that you probably don't want to get caught singing in public. If you want a perfect musical comedy, this is pretty much it.
Springtime for Hitler and Germany. Deutschland is happy and gay.
Is it weird how excited I am to see Simba and Timon in a musical together? Now that's a mashup I need to see. Which musical makes you cackle the most? Let us know in the comments, hit that like button, and check out this other great video on Stage Right.